The good thing is the grass always needs to grow, and that will happen. So apart from the years, it's the economy will come and go. But in our game, if the grass doesn't grow, it doesn't matter whether the economy's booming or busting. We don't sell mowers if the grass isn't growing.
This episode is supported by a proper local clinic just outside of Bishop Stortford. Most people don't wake up planning to see a chiropractor. It's the stiff neck that won't ease, the bad back that's killing your sleep, or that pain that suddenly makes work and family life harder. Takeley Chiropractic help people get out of pain and, even more importantly, stay out of pain. They don't rush you. They take time to understand you and make you feel better. They want to understand what you want to get back to doing, whether that's work, sport, or just spending time with your family. They're a local team, highly qualified, and recently they won an award for outstanding patient care. Have a look at takeleychiropractic.co.uk and see what they're all about. Welcome to the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast, the show where we shine a light on the incredible businesses, community leaders, and local legends shaping our town. I'm your host, James O'Donnell, and today we are joined by Craig Hoare. Craig, great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Not a problem. Craig, for those of us who don't know who you are, what do you do here in Bishop Stortford and who are you?
Sure. So my name's Craig Hoare. So I'm the sales and marketing manager for Toro UK Limited, which is based in Spellbrook.
Fantastic. So Toro, what do you do?
Right. So people may know us as Hayter. So the origins of the company is that it was Hayter Limited. So started by Doug Hayter back in 1946. In fact, this year, 2026, we're actually celebrating our 80th anniversary. So we're still based on the same site where Doug started the business. And we manufacture lawnmowers and ground care equipment. We were bought by an American company before I was with the company in, I think, 2005 from memory. It was 2020 years last year. And it was 3-4 years ago, we changed to Toro UK Limited because Toro is the parent company. So we're the sort of UK subsidiary of that. But we still manufacture Hayter mowers at the factory.
Fantastic. And how much of that kind of heritage company still kind of shapes what you do today?
A lot. And it's something I've got a bit of a small passion project in bringing back. I've been in the industry myself for over a quarter of a century. I actually used to work for a retailer selling these lawnmowers. So I worked in a garden machinery retailer for 17 years before I moved to the other side of the fence and moved into supply and worked for a previous company before this one. So I've got a long heritage with Hayter mowers. There's a lot still around the building. The company went through a few owners before Toro and bits got lost. So I'm on a small mission to sort of reinvent that. And my eBay search history is mostly Hayter lawnmowers, as I tend to look them up. And I'm sort of buying them up as we go along and restoring them, not myself, because we want to sort of retain that heritage around the place.
Fantastic. I bet in Bishop Stortford, in the wider community, there must be loads of these sitting in
I'm sure.
garages.
Absolutely.
and
I'm sure, yeah.
That's fantastic. So if anybody's out there, get in contact.
Absolutely. If you've got an old machine and you're looking to rehome it, let us know. Yeah, definitely. I tend to look at Facebook forums and we'll often discover them and we'll go and purchase them. In 2020, and this was before COVID, it was the 50th anniversary of the Hayter Harrier, which is one of the models. And we've been making that model for 50 years. And it's been updated. It's a bit like VW Golf has gone through various versions. That's our version. And we bought an original one. We found it on Gumtree. And I think I picked up it was down in Wiltshire somewhere. And we restored it so we could have an original one and then a modern one sort of next to each other. And we've still got that at the head office.
It's great to have a local company like
Mm.
that with some heritage and still going now, thriving as a business, employing lots of local people.
Yes, yes. It's changed dramatically, I think, from when it first was. But I think, like a lot of manufacturing, it's not all mechanisation, but that is an element that comes into it. Um, I mean, one of the good things I always refer to us as if you like, we're a cottage industry with a corporate backing. So we retain all of the qualities that we were as Hayter, and that still sort of live in the fabric of the buildings, but we've got Toro sort of in our corner investing. So, we've got, a big, large, and I'm going to give you the layman's description of things because I'm not technical. We've got a big laser cutter that, cuts out the metal. And, we've just invested in more welding machines, but they're large robotic welding machines. So they can do big chassis and all this sort of thing. As opposed to, you used to have teams of people that would be standing welding, and we've got machines that can do it far more efficiently and safely as well, and that comes with having Toro in the corner that, they can invest in us as a business. Like most British manufacturing, that's sort of declined over the years. Being a solely British company, I think we'd probably struggle. It's good to have the parent company to support us.
And being part of the community as well, how involved does the business get with everything else that's going on around you?
Yeah, a lot, lots. So it's something that Toro as a company is passionate about. So globally, we will do things, and they always look for each site in each region around the world to do stuff in their local community. So we've done lots of stuff. So we'll have a vote every year with the staff at the factory, and we will then nominate a charity of the year, because you can imagine we get a lot of people that will come to us for sort of donations or support. So we've found the best way for us to do it is to nominate a charity, and then all of our efforts, or majority of efforts through that year, will go towards that. And we get the staff to vote on it, because then instead of just picking, it could be a cancer charity or a dementia charity, it's relevant to the staff on the site, and it might be various different things. So one of the ones we did, either last year before, we did St Clair's Hospice. So we've done a lot of work with them. So through when we do fundraising activity on site, we'd obviously donate the money to them. We donated them a new ride-on lawnmower because their old one was past its date. So we gave them a new one to be able to maintain the place. We'll also look to go out and do volunteering. So we went out to Thorngrove Primary School. We did some litter picking with them. We also there's also a scheme where Toro will invest in the local environment, because we're a company that looks at the environment and it's important to us. There's funds that we can sort of apply for. So we did the outdoor classroom there. We did the outdoor classroom at Spellbrook Primary School. They've got an outdoor area where we put some money to. We also did some work with Grow Green Spaces, Wendy Gordon, and we went along, and that was to do with planting native bulbs along the River Stort, and we've done some work there, and we've had staff go out and help clear some of the riverbanks and stuff as well. So yeah, there's lots that we try to do in the local area, which is important to give back to the community.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Stortford landscape has changed an awful lot over the last 20, 30 years. You've got so many new builds going up and so much kind of landscaping going on. I can see how, there's actually an alignment with what you guys do as a business, and how you might be able to kind of invest in that kind of space. How many people do you guys employ at the moment at Toro? At the Hayter space.
Okay, so I think we're about
Am I putting you on the spot here, Craig?
Yeah, I think it's about 100 across all the functions. So that's manufacturing, obviously office, warehousing, because it's a factory, so we're a factory there, but we also have R&D workshops there. So we have an engineering team, so there's design engineers that work on site. designing the mowers, and then
Yeah.
we'll have an R&D workshop where they will then take these designs, create prototypes, and work those up way before. And it can take anywhere from sort of 18 months to 3-4 years, in
Wow.
development. As you can imagine, when you see sort of large machines that the councils will use for
Yeah.
cutting roadsides, and they take a long time to sort of develop. So we've got an R&D team there. We've obviously then got the manufacturing. So from the manufacturing, we've got people that will work on material handling. So I was talking about the laser cutters, welding, paint shops. We have our own paint shop where we paint all of the materials before they're assembled, and then we have the assembly line as well as the warehousing, and then obviously you've got the offices with accounts and sales and marketing and purchasing, and so there's quite a few people on site.
Fantastic. Well, it's great to have a local employer like this on the show and to shine a light on what you're doing. What does the future look like for the business, and how things are changing? And so many business owners I speak to are being impacted by AI and that kind of modernization of how work looks like. I'm guessing you guys are no different.
So I think every business it will be impacted. I mean, technology is a big piece of what we're doing. Sustainability is a big piece of what Toro are focused on. So a prime example of that is we manufacture at the Spellbrook factory what's called a greens roller. So it's basically like an iron for golf courses. So the golf greens, they will roll the golf greens to get them nice and flat. So we manufacture those, and we actually manufacture them in Spellbrook globally. So all of the ones we manufacture there, they're the ones that they go to the whole of the world for Toro. And we've just launched, and we launched it in January at a trade show in Harrogate, and then a couple of weeks later in the US, a lithium ion version. So same process, but moving to a battery technology. So, sort of technology is certainly coming through what we do. So part of that is the power source that's changing. Not at our factory, but you're then into robotic mowing, autonomous, which is where you'll get AI and those sort of things coming in. I mean, the good thing is the grass always needs to grow, and that will happen. So apart from the years, it's the economy will come and go. But in our game, if the grass doesn't grow, it doesn't matter whether the economy's booming or busting. We don't sell mowers if the grass isn't growing. So when it's hot and sunny and it's drought and the grass has gone brown, you can imagine we're tearing our hair out.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I always look around and you always see lots of hairdressers, and you think it doesn't matter what's going on. People's hair is still growing. People still need hair cutting, and it's the same with lawnmowers. The grass is always growing. Oh wow, that's incredible. My neighbor around the back has got a robotic lawnmower for a very small stretch of grass, and I'm very jealous of him because I'm in a new build and the earth quality, the turf quality is very poor, especially with all the rain we've had over the last 3 months. It's been terrible. So my wife is looking forward to get me out in the garden and fixing that soon, because we do not have a robotic. I've got an old school push me pull you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Job, because I'm still young and fit. That's
Absolutely.
the idea. That's the idea anyway.
I mean, autonomy into our industry, certainly with grass cutting, it's labour replacement. I mean, that's a big piece of it, and it's not putting people out of jobs. Golf courses and a lot of people can't fill jobs. So I remember a couple of years ago, I was chatting to a golf attendant. I was up near Manchester, and I was in one of our dealers, and there was a golf course manager in there, and he said he's been running at 70% capacity of staff for about 2 years. Can't fill the roles.
Wow.
And there's globally that's a similar trend. So that's where autonomy can certainly help with those sort of things, to be able to do that sort of stuff instead.
Interesting. As a business, as a local employer, is there any skills gaps that you're seeing now that you're keeping an eye out for?
That's a good question. I don't think there's any specifics. I think generally, and actually talking AI, certainly from a trade perspective, as an industry, dealers struggle to find fitters, mechanics, whatever you want to phrase, or service technicians. That's a big gap generally. Um, and I think where there was a big push to sort of away from sort of manual trades broadly, that's certainly seen an impact. So we're part of the Agricultural Engineers Association as a manufacturer. That's the sort of industry body for manufacturers, and they're working with two or three other companies, and they run a scheme called We Are Land Based, which is promoting land based industries. And I think because traditionally people think it's quite a boring, sort of industry, but actually, when you think agriculture, you're going into things like navigation, you've combines, they're using navigational technology, electronics, robotics. It's a changing, and trying to get young people into that to look at actually, you don't have to go to university. There are colleges with skills, tree surgeons, grounds care people. There's lots of opportunity, and I think us as a factory, I wouldn't say specifically. I mean, we have roles that pop up every so often, but broadly as an industry, if from a ground care, there's loads. There's lots of opportunity.
Yeah, I think a lot of young people are worried about what jobs are going to be around, and it's going to be those kind of things where you're using technology, using AI, robotics. I think more robotics is going to become a bigger industry because of the way that AI drives it, and then actually you're going to then need the kind of hands-on mechanic skills to be able to go in and fix those when they break down and support all of those. And I think there's going to be Sparkies now are in huge demand, and I think that's only going to increase, isn't it? That's really interesting. What does the next 5 years look like for you guys? What are you thinking about?
We've got a large project that's on the go, so that's launching 2027, and it's crazy that we're thinking that far ahead. But this is where some of the investment in the factories come from. I was on a meeting yesterday, and so they're sort of running prototypes and testing, because it's the amount of field hours. So when we release a new lawnmower, they'll go through thousands of field hours, either at Spellbrook. So we've just launched a battery professional lawnmower. It's called the E Pro Stripe. We have a petrol one, but this is the E version, so it's a battery version. So when you watch a football game or something like that, and afterwards you see them going up and down the pitch, it's a version of that but battery. And we had people taking it in shifts to go up and down the test fields, because one of the beauties of where we are is we've got that land around us. So we have test fields, and they were going up and down, because you need the life through, motors and gearboxes to see how they perform after 100 hours or 400 hours, or, that it's not until you get that sort of life through something, that's where you see things going wrong.
Yeah.
Everything works well, brand new, and you need to see those. And that's part of the development. So there's a lot goes through all testing hours.
Those fields must be so well mown.
Yes. We have irrigation. We actually installed irrigation, going back to the weather, because we need grass to cut. So we actually installed irrigation so that we could rain our grass when we need it, even if it's dry, because we need to test mowers. But we'll also send them to the US. So we've got test facilities in up near Minneapolis, where the head office is, also down in Florida. They've got sort of grass farms where they will just have people that will just cut grass. So during the winter, we sent mowers over there again to put hours through them, just to sort of test them.
That's great. Like prototype lawnmowers being flown around the world to find the grass to cut. All based from Spellbrook. Absolutely fantastic. Craig, where's the best place if people are, hadn't heard of you before but are interested in finding out more about you guys? Where can they follow you online and see what's going on?
Sure. So we're on all of the usual. So our website itself, hayter.co.uk, is the sort of main place, but we have Facebook, Instagram. I think our LinkedIn is Toro UK, because that's more of a business, but certainly Facebook and Instagram. We have a company that helps us with our social media, and they were saying that we have some of the most passionate sort of followers They work with quite a few companies, and they're like, we've never known any company have such passionate followers. And we do. You go and look, there are Facebook groups for Hayter owners, and they have their own book, and they discuss old models and how do I do this, and the second-hand market in our machines is huge because we are a premium, and I know it sounds like I would say that, but we literally are. We're like the sort of Rolls Royce, Aston Martin of mowers. We're not a cheap entry sort of machine. We're not a cheap machine, but they're built to last. So you will find machines that are 20, 30, 40 years old still going, as people tinker with them, a bit like classic cars. So yeah, Facebook's a good place for a lot of people.
Fantastic. Well, I won't link to the Facebook groups because I think that's a particular niche, isn't it?
It is,
but
yeah.
I'll certainly share your socials and the website as well. There might be people out there that are just interested in finding out a little bit about local business, and I think it's intriguing that just on the doorstep that kind of thing is happening here. Craig, thanks for sharing your insight. Are you ready for some Stortford Spotlight questions?
Yes, far away.
Yeah. Fantastic. If you could put one sentence on a billboard in Jackson Square, what would it say, and who needs to hear it the most?
I don't know who needs to hear it. For me, mine would be, someone please build a hotel in Bishop Stortford. It's the one thing that Bishop Stortford lacks. So only 2 weeks ago, we bought, there was 8 or 9 dealers, so shop owners from Southern Ireland, plus 3 staff from our distributor in Ireland across to Bishop Stortford. So we could do training, show them the factory, and we took them for dinner in Bishop Stortford. But there's no hotel in Bishop Stortford, so I end up staying at the Manor of Groves in High Wyche, or you have to sort of stop up by the airport. There isn't anything in Bishop Stortford at all, and that's one of my biggest bugbears. Which seems crazy because it's lovely in the town centre, and taking guests in, they had a fabulous time. They really, really enjoyed it. But we then have to get taxis out of Stortford, down the road.
There did used to be places you could stay in town. I remember I stayed once overnight at the George, which is now Prezzo's. But when it was a pub back in the day, you could stay at the pub. But yeah, it's a very rare thing now. Yeah, Stortford could do with a hotel, right? That's the new campaign. We're on it, Craig. You'll put up half the money. And
I'm sure I can speak to somebody.
Yeah,
not sure who.
So yeah, we could do a hotel sponsored by Hayter. You get your own like miniature lawnmower in your room.
There is a competitor. I won't mention them. I think in the US that actually do have a hotel by their head office that they run because they have that many people that come. They have their own hotel. Yeah,
fantastic. Lots of themed room names
possibly. And I bet knowing that
lots of opportunity for that. I'm
they'd have
sure.
some fans that would want to stay there as well.
Yeah. Question 2. Where do you go in Stortford that you secretly hope never gets too popular?
What do I secretly hope never gets too popular? One of my favourite places, and I'm not sure is it Persio or
Persio.
restaurant? We always take people there. Food's great. It's a lovely building. Atmosphere's fab. I mean, it's busy, but it's never too busy. We always take groups there whenever we have customers or visitors. That's always the first on the list. They love it. It's really good food. So I hope there's always an opportunity to get a table. I wouldn't want it to be too busy.
Yeah, it's well frequented, isn't it? Every time I've been there, and yeah, it does have atmosphere, which is exactly what you want from that kind of place in Stortford. Great shout out. Thanks, Craig. And last question: who's doing something special in town that more people need to know about?
So our charity of the year this year is the Well Beloved Club. It's actually in Sawbridgeworth, but I know that's one that was put forward. So I've only started to learn a bit about them. We're going to do some as a team and staff. We're going to go down and do some activities there as well as raising money. So if we're going to look at somebody that's doing something special, certainly they are.
They are. Can you explain a little bit more about what they do?
So I think they run day sessions for people to come and where they can interact with other people if they're elderly. and they can get company, and they run various activities. As sort of much as I've learned so far, I'm yet to be able to get down there.
Yeah, we've invited them on the podcast. They'll be on soon.
Oh, fantastic!
And they are, they do incredible things. For, one of the big problems in our community is I think 25% of people live alone, and they don't get to meet other people and socialize. And one of the things the Well Beloved Club does is put on these meals and dinners for people that are isolated and bring them together, because it's a real problem in the community. So they're a fantastic organisation, and definitely someone we should be shining a light on. And that's the idea. Craig, again, what's the best way for people to follow along with what Hayter are up to?
What we're doing. So the website's a good start. So hayter.co.uk, or you can look for us on Facebook or Instagram. So we're always posting content on there. It's not all sort of selling. Some of our best interactive stuff is where we share history. So we love to share it. There are cupboards and cupboards of archive of photos and all sorts of stuff. So we try to share that through our socials, because people love seeing it. I think that's something that they really like. Another area you can go is we were recently on Inside the Factory on the BBC. So if you go to the BBC iPlayer and look at the latest series Inside the Factory, you can actually see inside the factory, because we had them. It was 2024 they came, actually. It was 2.5 years in the making. I first started talking to them in 2023, and then they filmed the summer of 2024, and then it went out, I think it was February, that it actually aired. It was a hectic but really enjoyable 3 days whilst the TV cameras and everybody turned up. But great opportunity to shine a spotlight on British manufacturing, I think we're one of the last standing British lawnmower manufacturers. There's only a handful really going. I think and if you like, domestically, I think we're one of two.
Wow. Incredible. Such a, it's a British institution as well, really, isn't it? You think of the shed, the garden shed, and the lawnmower, and the lawn, which has only been around for not a couple of hundred, not even a couple of hundred years, really.
That's a good question. It's actually on the program. They do. Ruth Goodman, who does the history parts, actually goes off and finds out about the history of the lawn and sort of where it came from and the sort of popularity. And I think it was Georgians, I think, that sort of really first started doing lawns. Yeah. So,
especially with tennis, tennis was involved in?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question.
They go playing that in their back gardens. They needed an even surface to play on.
Yeah, I can't remember. You'll have to watch the show to find out.
I will. I'll put that down. Awesome, Craig. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast. It's been a real pleasure.
No, it's been great. Thank you very much.
No worries, Craig. If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to support us, support the show, is to hit follow, leave a quick review on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or Amazon Music, where we're on now, and share it on your socials or with someone in town that you think should hear it, particularly if they're not on social media. I'm sure there are lots of people out there that would be interested in what Craig has had to share about Hayter today. And if you've got a local legend, someone that's been in manufacturing for 80 years, in the local area that you think we should feature next, drop their names below and I can reach out and invite them on the show. It'd be great to have some more local legends like Craig and Hayter on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast. Craig, again, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problems. Thanks, James.
Thanks.